This week, come with us as we show you around the beautiful Scottish seaside village of St Monans, with its harbour, its historic church, its amazing old castle, and the unexpected remnants of an industrial past. So we parked Daisy, our work-in-progress campervan, up by the historic church and then took a wander down into the village. So we have come down a really nice little hill, but it's houses and there's people about, so I didn't film it. And that is obviously the harbour over there. So let's go head down and look at the pretty historic harbour of St Monans. It's another place that's narrow and windy and not really designed for motor cars. Looking at some of the signs in the windows and the number of key presses, I think a lot of these are probably now rental properties, which is why the place is a wee bit dead in winter. That's a really cool wee passageway up to your front door, isn't it? Wouldn't be much good for getting a big piece of furniture in though, I don't think. This is one of the attractions of St Monans. It's called the Welly Garden. It is St Monans Welly Boot Garden, and in summer obviously there are flowers growing out of all those pairs of boots that people have donated. Poor old Jasper is a bit high and dry on the slipway and at quite a jaunty angle. I bet if you went on that now it'd feel like you were quite drunk because it's not very flat. St Monans is another place where, although it's a shadow of its former self, there is still a fishing industry. There's lots of lobster pots and stuff, and there's a wee boat over there called Defiance. I was going to go for a walk round the jetty, but there's a thing I'm standing on, and there's one over there, and there's one over there, and there's that one there. I wonder if they ever got one. It's all very well kept, as all these wee seaside villages are. Well, at least until you get as far as Methil. And also, boo, why not? I said back there the place was really quiet. I'm down on the front now and there are lots and lots of people milling about. And the guy behind me does not like the Volkswagen ID4. So that's Duckwind as wee street and the old bank house and some really nice looking wee buildings. This is obviously the historic heart of St Monan, and that over there, that blue building, is an amazing seafood restaurant, and Bex and I will be going back there again at some point. So pink ones and cream ones and yellow ones and stone coloured ones and white ones, lots and lots of very nice wee houses. We're going to go out there to the end of the jetty to see the town from the other side. The seafood that you get in the East Pier is just amazing. It's one of those places where you order a fish and it arrives and it's looking at you. We've been out doing some filming over the past couple of days and the weather has been quite bad and the sea has been quite stormy, but so far today it's all been very nice. That can change, but certainly lots of blue sky and sunshine. Over there, that is the Bass Rock, which we kind of saw from North Berwick, and that over there, that hill, is North Berwick Law, which is also quite interesting. One day we'll take you up it. We've made it out to the end of the wee jetty from where we were just over there, and there is a panorama that probably hasn't changed a great deal in the past 200 years, apart from obviously the number of cars that are now here. It was never designed for this number of cars. Parking is a bit of an issue, and overnight parking is not really tolerated, although we have parked just right over there, where that red car is over there. We just parked opposite that and stealth camped and nobody noticed. And up there is a bell. Let's go and have a look at the bell, or maybe let's not have a look at the bell, because that is quite a long way down. And there's that other strange little bit of jetty that sticks out. Must just be to protect the entrance to the harbour. Over there is the sort of icon of St Monans. If it looks to you a bit like a windmill, that's because it's a windmill, and we ain't in Holland or in Fife. There's always something quite good for the soul about these wee fishing villages. They are really nice, calm, peaceful wee places. And along there is the windmill that we just looked at. We're going to head along there now and show you that, and another one of those tidal pools that people go swimming in. They seem to be very popular in this part of Fife. Every village has got one. Yeah, we get the idea. If you watched our Pit and Weem video the other week, you'd have seen that at Pit and Weem they're actually designated overnight camping spots where you pay your money and you can stay overnight. I don't know if St Monans has got the same thing. I will have to find out and I will let you know, because obviously if you're coming here in your van and you want to go to the pub, you need somewhere to park. Not that we ever go to the pub, obviously. If I was being particularly cynical, I would say the reason there are so many no overnight parking signs is there's a caravan site up there where no doubt you can park your van and pay them money. This is St Monans swimming pool, which as you saw there is no longer maintained by the council, but it is still very, very well used. And yeah, people do like it. This whole back to nature thing that the world's got going on just now means facilities like this are getting more used now than they probably have been in the last sort of 50 years. So that is St Monans open air swimming pool, which is probably quite cold, but certainly very well used. There's two ladies sitting over there who've just been in for a swim. I had to wait till they finished before I started filming, and there is the view down towards the Windmill, which is where we're going to go next, and that is something that is just made to be looked at from above. And this here, which has got something of the look of a World War I battlefield about it, is actually St Monans' old salt works. So the windmill and these things here were part of a salt industry that is now long gone. Or is it? In a world that demands artisan everything, there's actually somebody set up St Monans Salt Works again. So once again, salt is being made in Fife. That is quite an impressive thing. I do like that old windmill. It's now used as a Coast Guard lookout station, and sometimes you can get into it for a wee look around, but I've never actually seen it open. You can't really see what this looks like from down here. What we need is a view from above, where you can see the ruins of the old buildings and the windmill that used to pump the salt water up into them to be evaporated off to make the salt. There are plans to restore one of these old salt works into its former glory, but it's one of those things that local people have a good idea, but getting the money together might be a bit of a challenge. Be nice to see though, be nice to get a proper handle on what this place actually looked like when it was busy. I just talked about the salt pans down there, then I found these notice boards, and there are salt pans all the way from St Monan right round here. Methil had them, Leven had them, Largo had them, and then Crail, where we were a couple of weeks back. And after looking at it from above, here is an artist's impression of what it all would have looked like. That is the whole sort of industrial landscape. The windmill powering the pumps that brought the salt water up into the heating houses, where the water was evaporated away and the salt was left. And according to that thing that I just read, if you look in the fields over there, you can see remains of where the coal was mined. So it was all local. The whole process was based on the fact that they had salty water and they had coal. This is just some extra footage in case I need it to waffle over. This is just some extra footage to waffle over today. Looks like I've made a new friend. I don't know who that doggy is actually with, unless it's those swimming ladies over there. A happy doggy. And we're back on the main road that takes us down into the harbour. Unless we go that way, in which case we're heading up towards the main road, but we're not doing that. Down to the harbour, back to the van, and see how DeNiro is doing. I've just checked Park 4 Night, which is our favourite car parking app, and it's not showing anything for overnight parking in St Monans. So you can park up by side the church all day, and there's plenty of space, although the access road is a bit narrow, but there's nowhere to park overnight. Although last time we were here, we parked Mabel, our old converted camper van, right there, and nobody seemed to mind. I do like the pastel colours that people paint their houses. It's very sort of bright and cheerful, and that one there is amazing, with its front door upstairs and painted yellow, as you can see, but the old stone bit is still, well, old and stone. I'm gibbering. And it's closed, obviously, because this is literally the middle of winter. But this is St Monans Heritage Collection, which we'll have to come back for a wee look at. Up there it says "Grip Fast." I wonder if that is like the village's motto. Now it's time for a nice cup of coffee. And by a cup of coffee, I mean homemade cup of very expensive Nescafe 3-in-1. Oh, did I mention that we now have actual proper running water? Not the best coffee in the world, but it does save any hassle of having to remember to buy milk or sugar, because they are already in there. And DeNiro is on guard duty. Yes, I said your name. You are DeNiro. And if you'd like a bit of culinary advice, these are horrible. It's definitely a kitchen with a view. DeNiro has just finished his breakfast, and now he's waiting for his dinner bowl to be full again. I was going to install a proper gas cooking system in the van, but that adds a whole lot of legal complications and insurance issues, so we've just gone with this. And so far, to be fair, because we've got it on its little stand, this little one-ring gas stove has been brilliant. Oh, people have arrived. Maybe they've got biscuits. it's time to get the Greyhound out of the camper van and go for a walk along to the castle, which is, I thought, straight along there. Well, it is straight along there, but that is no longer a path. It's fenced off, so we'll have to go down onto the foreshore. We're off to see a castle, a wonderful castle we hope. But first we'll stop and look at the cute little bridge, which was the old way into the graveyard before they built the big car park. Nice view of the quite imposing church from down here, and a nice view of some very nice little houses. This is a really, really pretty little place. The Fife coastal path does not get any more coastal than this. I'm not actually sure how you get down onto that. Let's find out. DeNiro will show us. He is leading the way. Alright, yes, it's all pretty well signposted. We're going down those steps. Always quite amusing watching a greyhound trying to wag its tail, because he's quite happy and he wants to wag his tail, but he's not entirely sure how to do it. I've let him off because he's probably better at navigating these rocks than I am if he's not attached to the lead, and he's dying to go for some zoomies, but it's not really a zoomy beach, so hopefully he'll calm down and just have a wee sniff. Look at that tail, what a happy greyhound. He's gone off up that way. I better go and put him back on the lead just in case there are any sheep or people or anything about. It's a bit muddy again. My lumpy space princess Dr Martens are going to get covered in mud. And over there is the castle for which we are heading. Right, as there's no one about and nothing to chase, off you go, have a sniff. That stops him pulling me over, or more likely me pulling him over. This is very slidey. And he's off. DeNiro! DeNiro! Back you come. Good boy. How's that for greyhound recall? Look at him. Oh yeah, why did you run under the tree, you idiot? You could have run on the path. I thought you were going to run straight into it. That would have taken some explaining to Bex. Where's the dog? Oh, he's impaled on a tree like a Christmas decoration. Silly doggy. He's definitely leading the way now. I'm not sure what he's sniffing up there, but he was running along and then did an emergency stop. He must have found something interesting. What are you eating? I do like Dr Martens boots. I've got quite a few pairs of them, but they are really, really rubbish when it is muddy or slidey. You spend a lot of time trying not to fall over. Oh dear, we almost had an incident there where DeNiro decided he was going to take off because we were coming along here, and those two guys down there were coming back with their big dog that was off the lead. There was a bit of zooming happening, and I think the big doggy could out-zoom DeNiro. And there's the Fife Coastal Path sign that shows you the high tide route, because that way we came along past the church. Obviously it would be no good if the tide was in. You would get a wee bit soggy. Oh wow, I'm not sure what castle that is. I'll find out and I'll let you know. Hopefully there'll be a sign and I can fake that I actually know what castle that is. That is a properly imposing set of ruins. Unfortunately, it's all fenced off, but let's go and see what we can see. That is the ruins of the castle, which are quite strongly backlit, and over there is the castle's Ducat, where they grew pigeons to get meat to eat, although I think they also probably got quite a lot of fish. Quite convenient for the fishing. Well, that was quite good fun. What a nice place, and what a nice day, and yeah, just nice. We're now going to head back into St Monans and we will see what we can find in there. But we're not going back along the really muddy path, we'll go the high tide path, which is actually like a road. This is getting really muddy. DeNiro is increasingly reluctant to go wading through this poop. If you don't have muddy paws, have you even been on an adventure? If you've watched our Methil video or our Lower Largo video, you'll know we sometimes find little bits of the Fife Old Coastal Railway, which is now long gone. I've just seen this bridge in front of us and I'm wondering if this bit here used to be the old railway line. Let's go and see if this looks like a railway bridge, because it certainly looks like a railway embankment on the other side of it. I'll wave my finger about in front of it just to annoy you. Whee! That's definitely an old railway bridge. So the old embankment that was on this side has gone, but it's still there on the other side. One day we are going to trace that. We're going to walk as much of that as we can, just because I've got an idea for an episode and I like the title, I Walk the Line. will mean nothing to anybody, but I will enjoy doing it. Yeah, that's quite impressive. A random piece of Victorian engineering in the middle of a field. Hang on a minute, how come he gets to walk on the path and I've got to walk in the mud? Move over, you're the dog. Right, let's go for a look at the auld kirk. The what kirk? Well, that'll be time for our word of the day. Okay, while we're here, we might as well have a wee look in the graveyard. After all, it would be rude not to, I think. This is obviously the newer part of the cemetery. Let's go and see if we can find if there's an older bit. I'm guessing there is, because it's quite an old church. St Monans is a really, really pretty little place. Almost all the houses have got these terracotta pan tiles, and when you get up the top there, you're looking down over the slope and you can see just a sea of terracotta. It's really, really pretty. It doesn't look like Scotland, it looks more like somewhere, you know, in the Mediterranean. We've come down next to the church and I'm still not really seeing much in the way of particularly old gravestones. These are all from the 1900s, 1930s, etc. There must be an older graveyard somewhere, or possibly an older part to this graveyard. Let's have a look down here and see what's around this corner. Oh yeah, this is looking a bit older down here. Obviously closer to the church is probably older and further away is newer for reasons that are pretty obvious and I don't have to explain. So let's start with over here. This is Agnes Grey, who died in 1861, so we're definitely getting older. It is a really, really pretty church building. Another really, really pretty church building, and once again, it's not the only one in the village. There's quite a nice church up in the main street. And over here, we've got Agnes and Andrew from 1819, so we're getting back in history. Let's keep going down here and see what else we can find. This is my favourite gravestone so far because I like things that are old, as you probably noticed. But there's a really old stone. Can't read the inscription, unfortunately, but skull. A single bone as opposed to a crossbone. Maybe crossbones are too expensive, maybe you pay by the bone. And an hourglass telling you that time is running out. That's probably still just about legible in the right light, in the right conditions, but not today. And then you think you're getting into the older part, and then you get that from 1920, so that's still in quite good condition and quite an expensive piece of stone, I would have thought, back in the day. And right behind it there's this, which I think is going to be illegible unless we're lucky and the half that's there is the half with the date on it. I don't think we are lucky. Nope, it's who died, the something, yeah, it's lost. That's a shame. That's a very nice stone as well. Sometimes the light catches these things properly and you can make something out. Like most of that is gone. Who died, there's 1761. So there's a date for you. This bit is 1761. Can't see a name, but he was 67 years old when he died. Behind it is an even older looking stone that is again quite impressive. It's got the winged sort of cheruby face at the top, and the skull, the hourglass, and again a single bone as opposed to a crossbone. As with most of these wee villages, they've got a religious claim to fame, and it's an interesting wee bit of history. King David I of Scotland was in battle and he was shot with 2 barbed arrows. Now barbed arrows, if you can imagine, are quite nasty. You can't pull them out. Well, the surgeons managed to remove one, but the second one was stuck. So what old King David did was he came on a pilgrimage to St Monans and he prayed here, and a miracle, the barbed arrow that was stuck in him fell out. So there you are. Believe that if you want, but it is quite a nice wee myth, or story, or legend, or possibly true. We say this quite a lot about these graveyards in Fife, but it's not a bad place to end up, is it? Sacred to the memory of Margaret Lowry, wife of Andrew Allen, fisherman of St Monans. Well, it's spelled differently, look, St Monans, not St Monans. She died in 1857, aged 73, stone erected by her children as a tribute to her maternal affection and her Christian character. And also their dad, who they've got nothing nice to say about. And here's a wee stone that's not long for being upright, but that is 1810. Very nice. I like this graveyard quite a lot. It's not quite as old or interesting as others, but it's not bad. And the church does kind of make up for it. This church is quite close to the seaside. Seaside. about 20 metres. I've mentioned before about the weathering that you see on some of these stones because it's sandstone and the sea, but that little one there, I think that is, yeah, I don't think you're going to be able to decipher anything out of that one. And here's a family with a bit of a sad story, in memory of our parents William Mathers, who died at 70, and Mary, who died aged 79. They did quite well, but their son David Mathers drowned at sea aged 20. Their children Agnes and Joseph died in infancy, and two of their grandchildren, William and Thomas, were drowned at Cleland on August the 7th, 1911. Not a hugely lucky family when it comes to the sea. This made me chuckle, although it's probably not actually funny. I'll probably get struck down for saying this, but this is Thomas Phillips Lindsay, who was the beloved husband of Helen Christophern Wood, so I'm guessing that would be his third wife. And also here is his first wife, Catherine, and his second wife, Harriet. I do hope they all get along because they're together for eternity. And the wee stone right next to it is in memory of Mrs Lindsay, a token of respect from St Monans brass band. I wonder which Mrs Lindsay they are referring to. And a Commonwealth War grave for somebody from HMS Victory who died in 1916. Hello Dick and Innes. It's been a bit chilly, but I think there is blue sky and sunshine on the way. So that is that. Hopefully we've given you another possible destination for your holidays, another place to explore. But for now, thank you very much for watching this episode. We do hope you've enjoyed it. Please remember to like and share, and more importantly, tell your friends, because we want to grow this channel. And we'll see you soon for more Scotland on a shoestring.